Australian shops, houses and offices are being streamed live on a website based in Russia, and all of them have been filmed through private security cameras. A website broadcasting streams of hacked web-connected security systems, largely because the owners haven't changed factory passwords. Dr. Katina Michael is a board member with the Australian Privacy Foundation, and she joins me now. Good afternoon and welcome. Firstly, when we talk about these people being exploited because they haven't changed their factory passwords, what passwords do you mean? Do you think that these passwords and their existence are widely understood by Australian consumers of technology?
Look, they're not. Installation guides don't come with an enforceability metric that says make sure you change the factory setting password. And so many of these cameras are unsecure.
And so let's just be clear what we're talking about. We're talking about cameras in people's home computers as well as security systems on their homes and businesses?
We're particularly focused on webcams, those Internet of Things devices that we place in hallways, perhaps, baby monitors connected to IoT, surveillance cameras that are there to protect and overlook swimming pools, perhaps, and property, assets and infrastructure.
Now, I don't think anyone would like to find out that their webcam has been hacked, but what are the potential implications if indeed someone's is accessed?
It's huge. I mean, people often install security cameras after there's been a theft in the house. And so here they are trying to go about a security metric by installing a camera, and they make themselves more insecure. You know, it's this paradox of security and a false sense of security. So we could see people in intimate situations, you know, enjoying a video or a movie together at home, relaxing with their children and family. We could see people who may be swimming in compromised physical apparel in a swimming pool. You could be seeing expensive assets like 3D printers that are remotely viewed by workplace employers. You might even be privy to workplace surveillance where an employer has installed a camera while they're away to actually look at what their workers are doing, which is fairly illegal in my view. And all of a sudden, you know, people's positions across to the camera are there to be viewed by anyone really who has access to the internet.
And so what is the main motivation by hackers, or do motivations vary as to who is actually being hacked?
Motivations are widespread and varied and diverse. I mean, there are voyeurs, there are spies, there are people that are stalking, there are ex-partners wishing to infiltrate these systems to know when their former husband or wife were actually in situations at the house. There are people wanting to hack in and have voiceovers in the house. That's really disgusting. There are other people who are willing to consider how far they can go with hacking or how they may be able to blackmail manufacturers. We've had devices like Amazon's Ring, Google's Nest, at various times having security issues. So the big brands are also vulnerable and they're reacting. They have to tell their consumers, well, if you're buying our product, make sure you stay up to date with firmware, make sure you change the password configuration. And how about these companies start offering two-factor authentication? These IoT devices are growing in our homes, smart fridges, smart locks. Imagine being locked in. Imagine having the lights flashing in and off and in the house. You know, there's a lot of things going on here. And I think just like we have the Internet of Things, or we can search for images, now we can search for webcams on the internet.
Now, what is known about the website that is streaming these videos? I believe it is Russian, and does that mean that the hackers are also Russian?
You know, you never know these days. It could be someone who has a Russian website domain name squatting there and doing these things illegally from a place where cybercrime is not really taken quite seriously. It may well be that they're just skimming the internet to find these things. But what we do know is that the websites are claiming they aren't doing anything wrong. In fact, they're even claiming they're not hacking. They're basically saying, consumers out there, you're basically vulnerable to attack because you're not aware of what you should be doing. Change those passwords. Do you trust the people installing these cameras? And get with it. But of course, this is false. This is disinformation. The truth is they are hacking. They are also looking at brute force attacks. So even if you have changed your password, They're going through 000, 0001, 0002 until they get that unlock. And these manufacturers don't have lockouts. You know, after we make mistakes on logging into our Apple iPhone, it's 3 and you're out. Well, these cameras have unlimited access. Go for it as long as you can, and the computer's running the brute force attack. So they are claiming manufacturers have responsibility, consumers wisen up, but we've got people out there that have been compromised for over 2 years with live streaming from intimate locations like their bathrooms in their house.
Can I ask you one final question? How can ordinary people without a high level of IT knowledge make sure that their systems are protected?
Look, I'm always thinking about people just buying these IoT devices because they're cheap. Think about it. Do you really need to connect it to the internet? What is the function of these Wi-Fi enabled devices and web enabled devices? Is it enough to cause a chilling effect by buying a camera and just sticking it on your house? Who would know that it's not connected to a network? The other thing, for those who do require these systems for Airbnb to do remote unlocks, make sure passwords for every one of those IoT devices is different and hasn't been used before and has been compromised. I would say update firmware, change your passwords regularly, and make sure the passwords are not the same, and keep putting pressure on those manufacturers, those well-known brands that we're all enjoying, to actually have two-factor authentication.
Really interesting to speak to you. Dr. Katina Michael, thank you.
Thank you very much.